You would probably never guess this, but the 9 old eccentrics and Tale of a Scribe were all divinely handsome in their youth. First up is village chief Sumeshu. In his youth, he could be described as breathtakingly handsome. From his debut until now, the village chief has always had messy, long white hair, so slovenly, with his arms and legs severed, confined to a wheelchair. The image of a crippled old man in tattered clothes. It wasn't until episode 32 that we finally got to see what he looked like in his youth. Full of life and spirit, dressed in a long dark red robe, his belt adorned with red and green gemstones. Dashing and spirited, very picture of a heroic youth. His sharp sword accessory highlights his sword god temperament. As the human emperor of his time, he led humanity to resist oppression, drawing his blade against the true gods of the heavens. The village chief was defeated and his limbs were severed. Because of this, his Tao heart was shattered along with his limbs. He wanted to end his own life, but the human emperor's seal had to be passed on. So he eked out an existence in the great ruins. Living in a daze, he became the sorry sight he is today. Second, Apothecary. Apothecary is the most stunning of all. He currently appears with his face completely covered, the image of a mysterious physician wearing a metal mask. All day long, just planting herbs and refining medicine, carrying his little pharmacy on his back wherever he goes. But in his youth, he was as handsome as a jade tree in the wind. A beautiful man known as the jade-faced gentleman. With a folding fan in hand, he had countless female admirers. Among them, the Empress Dowager of Eternal Peace. Noble ladies and other powerful women pursued him, willing to fall at his feet. He had both looks and immense power. His only flaw was taking in a heartless apprentice, the little Poison King. The little Poison King wanted to destroy the jade-faced gentleman and exposed his identity as a Poison King. Apothecary was then hunted by his enemies, with his admirers blocking his door. He had no choice but to disfigure his own face and hide in the great ruins. He has never taken a step out since, even later after the trouble had passed. He didn't want to restore his appearance. After all, having too many admirers is also a hassle. Third, Granny C. Granny C is the most unexpected of all. She now appears as a hunched-over old woman, bearing no resemblance to a beauty. The most prominent decoration on her is the face mask, perhaps indicating that this is not her true face. After all, the old woman is just a skin she sews for herself. Beneath this skin lies her true form, hailed as the #1 beauty in the world. Even gods have fallen for her charms. To be honest, the first time I saw her true form, I was truly stunned. Her attire is tailored in a mysterious purple, an embroidered collar but exudes elegance. The bird-shaped sleeves add a touch of agility, showing the production team's meticulous design. They truly captured Granny C's nation-toppling beauty and power combined. I can't imagine what kind of scene it will be when the Wolf King and God King appear later. The reason Granny C doesn't show her true face is also to protect everyone, so their Tao hearts won't be disturbed by her appearance. Sacrificing for others. Fourth, Mew has the biggest contrast. Mew is the last descendant of the Heavenly Works clan. His current appearance is a bronze mask with pursed lips, wearing heavy iron clothes. All day long, he just swings a large hammer, working with iron. The image of a rough and burly man is a stark contrast to his younger self. It's all about the contrast. Can you believe this playful and cute little boy is Grandpa Mew? A high-spirited and slender youth, with a gear-shaped mark on his face, making him look mysterious and special. The reason Grandpa Mew became Mew is because during the founding Emperor era, after the Heavenly Works clan was trapped in the Ark of the Other Shore, Mew's clansmen went through immense hardship, sacrificing countless members to send out the then-child Mew. At first, Mew loved to talk and would often reveal the secrets of the Heavenly Works clan to strangers. This caused a lot of trouble, so to protect his clan, he cut out his own tongue and retired to disable elderly village, silently forging iron. Fifth, Death. Death can be considered a winner in life. Death always wears a pair of iron ears, has an eccentric personality, is unkempt, and doesn't like to talk. But you would never have guessed that in his youth. He was a noble and peerlessly elegant prince of Tashida Heaven, brilliantly talented, with a happy family, and a famous reputation, praised by all. He was especially gifted in the art of painting, but because he was engrossed in painting, by the time he came out of his room, his country was destroyed and his family was gone. His mother, wife, and daughter were killed. His father's head was trampled upon. He was the only one left. So Death thought, what's the use of these ears? They couldn't hear the sound of armored horses and couldn't save his country. So he resolutely cut off his ears and punctured his eardrums. He retired to disabled elderly village, living in a daze. Every time he thinks of his family, he can't help but cry in remorse, falling into endless grief. Sixth, Grandpa Ma. He can be described as having a face as handsome as Jade. Grandpa Ma now has a body of well-developed muscles, missing one arm. He practices boxing all day, so his hand is wrapped in bandages. His expression is stern, and he doesn't like to smile. Little did anyone know that he was a constable in his youth, and his looks were never lacking. Later, after cracking a major case, he was accepted as a direct disciple by the Great Thunderclap Monastery. He cultivated to the 18th heaven of the Buddha, but later he really wanted to return to secular life. After defeating Mount Sumeru, he left and had a wife and child. He lived a happy and fulfilling life, but the great thunderclap ministry wouldn't let him go. Grandpa Ma severed his own arm to repay their kindness, but his wife and child were still killed. Grandpa Ma became the self-destructive figure he is today. He is often immersed in the pain of losing his wife and daughter. 7th, Butcher. In his youth, he also had a lot of personality. The current Butcher was cut in half at the waist, missing his lower body. He wields 2 pig slaughtering knives and occasionally falls into a frenzy. But he was incredibly handsome in his youth, with a resolute expression. He feared nothing in heaven or with a straightforward personality, daring to draw his blade against the heavens. But it was because of this heroic spirit that he was cut in half by a god from beyond the heavens. His Tao was shattered, and he could only hide in the great ruins, working as a butcher selling meat. 8th, Cripple. In his youth, he was also a handsome young man. Now he's missing a leg, running around with a crutch all day. He seems carefree and often engages in petty theft. But when he was young, he was incredibly spirited, with a flamboyant personality. He proclaimed himself the unrivaled thief of the world, stealing treasures from everywhere until he stole from ... and had a leg cut off by the Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor. He was hunted by the Imperial Preceptor and the sects he had stolen from, so he fled to the great ruins to live in seclusion. His motto is to just be spontaneous. If you can't win, you run. 9th, Blind. Blind's handsome looks, I think, are the kind that lasted from youth to old age. He usually wears a blindfold and holds a staff, but he often hangs out in casinos and loves to cheat. When he's out of money, he sets up a stall to tell fortunes for cash. You could say he has lived a very worldly life, but when he fights, he has the charm of a mature man. Looking at him in his youth, he was full of spirit, holding the Dragon Rider divine spear, exuding an aura of righteousness, until his eyes were gouged out by a treacherous star official. His Tao heart was shattered, and only then did he flee to the great ruins to while away his time. Among the youthful appearances of these 9, which one is your favorite?